College, man, college. What a time, right? You know, this is the time of the summer where you're probably at your college job or whatever, or your pre-college job before you go to college because you're either, if you're around my age, probably a little younger than me, you're probably, got your summer job working before college, kind of saving up for that, because you're either going into your first year or you're continuing, um, whatever. But I just feel like college is just not necessary nowadays. And I think this is a very common topic nowadays. So like I'm hoping this video is going to be short, but I'm just going to kind of, talk to you about how I feel about it, even though like I'm going to have a similar opinion to everybody else, but I feel like and I hate using this word because like I hate like the whole victim mentality, but I feel victim to what a lot of people feel like. I think there's like a statistic of like 60% of people would have rather, went and got a different major than they got, and I feel that way. It's because when I was 18 years old, I was like super into like fitness and running and stuff, and I still enjoy that stuff for the most part today, but not as much as I did back then. And so going into college, I was like, okay, well, I'll do exercise science. And then I also had a family friend that was a physical therapist. So I was like, okay, I'll do an exercise science major, and my goal is to be a physical therapist. Which, if you're not super knowledgeable about that major, everybody wants to be a physical therapist that's doing that major because technically, like they advertise, like, okay, you can be a personal trainer, athletic trainer, um, physical therapist, occupational therapist, or that type of thing. Just like all the stuff in the physical realm. Strength and conditioning coach. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but that type of thing, right? And so I went in like saying, because obviously all those other things that I just mentioned, besides like occupational therapy, physical therapy, you don't make good money from them. You just don't. Like you're just very capped unless you go and work for like a super big like sports place, like the NFL or something like that, like corporation, or you work for a super big college that has like a very good sports program. So, I was a year in and I was like, it was like really hard, but I was like, okay, let me stick to it. By the end of year two, I was like, I definitely don't want to be a physical therapist now. And by the time I got to my senior year, I was like literally just finishing it out because I just didn't I just didn't care. I'm like, I just at this point I'll just finish it out because like I knew that I had messed up in terms of like I wish I would have got a finance degree or a marketing degree or something more in like like that financial marketing business kind of realm, because that's kind of what I'm finding I'm more into from like a job perspective now. Which like I'll kind of get into like how degrees don't matter a ton, I guess, from like my perspective, and it's more about like experience and your confidence and your ability to sell yourself, because when you're interviewing, that's what people are actually looking for, right? But I don't want to go off on that tangent just yet. But I just feel like robbed almost, and I feel bad because fortunately my parents were able to pay for my college or most of it. I still have some debt from it, but they were able to pay for a significant amount of my college, and I was able to come away with a very minimal amount of debt compared to like a lot of my other colleagues. I probably have about a third or a fourth of what all my other friends who are in the exact same major as me are gonna have for debt. So that I'm very fortunate to um, be in that position. I'm very thankful for that. But I feel bad for my parents because they sat there and they slaved away for 4 years and paid for a degree that I'm not even going to use. You know what I mean? Because I got to the end of that 4 years, and first of all, I was like, well, I'm not like super into like the job aspect of fitness. I'm into like the personal development aspect of fitness. Like in other words, like because I was a runner in college, so my whole thing was like, okay, I want to become a physical therapist because like obviously you make a lot of good money doing that, but at the same time I knew my main focus deep down was the fact that I was being that major so that I could like further my career in running, because I was more focused on that and I was more passionate about that. Like I was very passionate about my sport at the time. And so it's just really difficult because you see, it's really hard to not call it a modern day scam, right? Because a lot of people sit here and they're like, oh, well, like stock trading is a scam, or obviously you have all the core sellers like the drop shipping and the day trading and all that stuff. People that call that a scam, and then you have like the actual scammers like the Indians. Like, not trying to be racist when I say that, but it is always an Indian like that's always trying to scam you on the phone. Um, but not like I get like really not trying to be like racially profiling or anything, but in my experience that's what it's been like. um, but yeah, so I don't like that. Seems like more of a scam to me at college because like you've heard many times before, when you're 18 you don't know what you want to do with your life. You know what I mean? You don't know what you want to do with your life, so it's like you're pushing these kids to go and make the decision that they're going to do X for the rest of their life for 40 more years till they retire. And you don't really know who you are at that age. Like, you think you know who you are because you've gotten to that age where you're intellectually there enough to where you're like, okay, I'm understanding life from a more spiritual perspective. You're not like, you just haven't lived enough life yet. You know what I mean? And I still haven't lived enough life. Like, I'm only 24 years old, or almost 24, 23, right? So I'm still super young and I still have so much more to learn. But it's like the amount of information and knowledge that I've acquired over the last 5 years. Like, I can only imagine where I'm going to be in 5, 10 years, like spiritually. And so where I was at 18, it's like night and day, the way that I feel about like the way that my worldview is and how I look at things and how I, make decisions and stuff like that. It's just like so much different than I was when I was that age. So you're telling these, spiritually immature, people to make a decision for the rest of their life, which is just not like applicable for most people. And that's why you see so many statistics of people being like, "Oh, I wish I didn't, go to college, or I would have waited," or like 60% of people, I think you can, fact check me on that, are saying, that I would have picked a different major, if I would have, you know, I would have picked a different major, you know, excuse me, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, they would have picked a different major at the beginning if they could go back. That's what I'm trying to say. But um, yeah, it's just it's just because obviously, if you have been growing up your entire life and you know that you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a physical therapist, you're going to be like this or that, like anything that takes like a master's or a doctorate degree, like I say go for it, because I think that those things, do need, I think that those things you do need to go to school and take it seriously and, you know, really take it in and be professional about it to do a good job at that thing. I guess basically what I'm trying to say is, because that's the other thing that bothers me about college, is that you get these general degrees that you can't really get very good jobs with because they're just gateways to a master's or a doctorate degree, right? So, and most of them, like the careers that you do, it's like, why do you even need a master's or a doctorate degree? Like, unless you're going to be some doctor or some super high profile role where you're like managing super big things that are going to take super big decisions or whatever, why do you need all this certification? I don't get it. Like, and that's not even what they care about. Like, kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like, when you go into a job interview, they don't care about like, oh, you have this degree, that degree, you got this GPA. Like, maybe if you went to Harvard or something like that, or maybe if you're like trying to, go to like a super duper duper high profile job like Google or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know all the super big companies or whatever, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, that's when they might care. But if you go to like a normal place, like, and you're trying to get a normal entry level job, they don't care. They just care about how you present yourself, how confident you are, how they perceive that you can make an impact in their business, and trying to figure out like if you're a good person to be around, like if you have good energy, right? That's what they care about. They don't care about that you have X degree or X certification. In most cases, they don't care. They don't. You know what I mean? So it's like I saw this one clip of Sylvester Stallone talking about how a college degree is literally just showing an employer that you showed up 4 years in a row on time, did all the tasks reasonably well, and by showing them that you have this degree, there is a better chance that you're not going to F their business up. I think that that is a great way to sum up a normal bachelor's 4 year degree, especially nowadays, because it's like you get a 4 year degree and you still have to do more stuff. Like I got to the point where I was done with my 4 years and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a physical therapist because I have to go to more school and I'm not trying to do that right now. And then um, there's the thing. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. But yeah, like you have to go to more school and then you have to get more certifications, right? So for me, like I had to go and get like take a bunch of tests and stuff to like certify for certain things and I'm just like I'm not trying to do that. I'm really not. You know what I mean? Like because I'm not even that into it as I thought I was and then you're going to make me take more tests and then at the end of the day, you're going to make the same amount as you can make at like any other job. Like literally if I went to go work at like Shields as like a sales representative for like shoes or something like that, I can make $18 an hour plus, you know, commission and you can probably make like, you know, over $20 an hour like on average or whatever. Like and I currently work at Walmart and I make 17 an hour. Like and I'm not going to lie, that general ballpark of 17 to like $22 an hour I'd say is literally the same amount of money that I would have made going from going in 4 years in college, exercise science degree, and then getting a certification and becoming a personal trainer. It's the same amount of money. It really is, you know? So you're making, you know, 30, 40 grand a year. It's the same, you know? So I just don't understand because, and there's so many people that are saying nowadays, like, don't go to college, this and that. And people are just so conditioned, um, to think like, oh, you should like go to college and stuff and all this stuff because that's how they were taught, like the boomers, the Gen Xers, the millennials, because for the most part it worked out for them, you know, kind of, but at the same time not really, you know, which that's like kind of a little bit of a different topic for a different video, but it worked out well enough to where like they got it somewhat of an ROI on their degree, and that's just not even happening nowadays because college is way too expensive. Like dude, the college I went to was like 40 or 50 grand a year. Like, are you serious? I'm paying 40 or 50 grand a year for what, dude? Because because I got like a relatively good quality of education, but like the amenities that I had and the dorms and stuff like that, like my first year dorm was just a hole. It was a crap hole. Like it was like the smallest like tiny closet room or whatever, like this room that I'm in right now was literally like probably the size of what my room was, which you can't see it or whatever, but there's like obviously like a wall right here and then you can see the back right there or whatever, and then there's like a wall right there. But it was basically the same size, you know? Like you see because you see my door back there, like put a wall right there. That's basically how big it was. Like it was like not very big and it was like I forget what it was. I think it was like $10,000 for that year. I'm like, you're making me pay all that money for what, dude? And it was a communal shower and stuff. I'm just like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, it's so dumb. Like like just the price of everything has gone up, but especially college and education has gone up so unreasonably. And it also went up 4% every single year. Like while I was there, I'm like, what am I paying for, dude? Like, I don't know. So like personally, like my experience was just not very good. And if your experience is good, that's awesome. But I don't know. I think the point that I'm trying to make, because this video has been kind of all over the place, jumbled, and I apologize for that. And I've kind of been like, you know, losing my track of thought, stuff like that. But I just wanted to kind of get this off my chest because, like, I'm just so passionate about this because, like, you're telling super young people to make this big decision and telling them to get into like 50 $100,000 of debt, and then we want to call all the crypto scams and stuff like real scams. Like no, the real scam is this. Like obviously, like, you know, crypto scams and, you know, certain courses and stuff are scams too, but the real scam is that we're trying to make you to make, you know, spiritually immature people make a decision about what they want to do with their life that, right then and there, and then making them pay 50 to 100 grand to get it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just ridiculous to me. It doesn't make any sense. And the other thing too that I really don't like about college is that like a lot of people develop really bad habits during that time because there's obviously like a lot of like partying and, you know, like substances and stuff like that going on. And let's be honest, no one really likes school. No one actually really likes school. Like probably like 10% of the people that actually go to school actually like it. Like nobody actually likes it. So people are sitting there like trying to like drown out like their hatred for being there, and just trying to get by using like all these substances and stuff, like at least in my personal experience. And it's just like, for what, dude? Like especially nowadays, like maybe back in the day when you could get like a decent job, like, but like people are literally like getting college degrees and spending 50 to 100 grand for them, and then you're gonna make $20 an hour, dude. Like, what? Like you're gonna make 3K a month? That's it? Like, I just feel like it's not worth it, man. It's just not. So I think I touched on everything that I wanted to touch on this video. It was a little longer than I anticipated, but hopefully, it helped you or touched you in some way, or maybe you can relate to this. If you did relate to this, leave a comment how you feel about it. Like the video, subscribe if you would like. If you like this type of content, I'm gonna post these videos as much as I can, of course, but I want to truly try to be authentic with it, and not just, be super performative and just be raw with everything. So, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I apologize again for how jumbled this was. I hope you have a great rest of your day.